beefing on our team. Mike did something to me, I did something back. He say we still go beef. He say we can fight one-on-one. I said, all right, we can fight one-on-one. But when nobody gonna let us fight one-on-one, so came out ourselves.
Then what happened?
He got stabbed. I don't know who stabbed me. Somebody stabbed me.
You don't know who stabbed him?
Nah.
But why are you down here?
They said I stabbed him. They said I put a mask on my face and 2 people popped me out my cell and helped me stab him.
Have you ever been stabbed in jail?
Yeah. Stabbed people and I finally got stabbed.
We have a group of inmates who have a propensity for violence, and they don't care about their fellow inmates. They don't care about a correctional officer.
Just say you growing up in a rough neighborhood. Your mother on crack. Every time she get a welfare check, it's gone. You ain't eating good. You going to school. People laughing at you because you dirty as shit. So you going to pound. Bang, you used to get the money. Then nigga get jealous. He want to take your money. So then you got to hold yours. You gonna be like, he can't keep taking my money because I'm out here every single day trying to make this money. And he coming around taking it from me. So eventually you gonna tell him, nah, you ain't gonna take my money. And if it lead up to a fight, you gonna fight. But then the next time you see him, it's gonna be gunplay.
In the day rooms of the Rikers Juvenile facility, it is not uncommon for officers to see an inmate sitting on a tall stack of plastic chairs, a kind of throne, while other inmates stand and sit on the floor. To sit down is a privilege, and therefore has value. One way to earn a seat, inmates told investigators according to internal reports, is to join a team, a group that has formed a power block within a housing area. But while power is exercised for its own sake, it's also used to compel weaker inmates to surrender the meager fruits of Rikers' life.
We got a thug family. We a family. We ain't separated. We a thug family. I ain't gonna say I run a juvenile block, but I got say-so on a juvenile block. I got more say-so than most niggas on the block. You knew. You probably take your tray. You don't eat. Say you just come. You don't eat breakfast. Nigga, take your breakfast and give it to somebody else. You gonna say I don't eat breakfast? Fuck you, lover. You don't eat, lover. How you gonna curd? And we gonna see where your ass at. If you be quiet and acting all scared, then you ain't gonna eat no more. We're gonna put you on Jenny Craig. You just gonna be starving like that. But if you come out your cell and be like, who took my tray? I'm trying to fight whoever took my tray. Me. See, business though I was on the top level till that's my tea. I tell him like this. Been as though he stood up for himself. We gave him his tray. But then his ass gonna get barbecued after that. He get dealt with after that. He get about eight juveniles stumping him out. Ain't nobody gonna stand him. He's gonna crush him.
Are you with it? Is the way it begins. At RNDC, what it means is, have you accepted the power structure as it exists? Everyone goes through it sooner or later, one inmate told investigators according to an internal report. It is part of our time, manning up. They attempt to extort you for the telephone, commissary, and even what channel is on the television, said another inmate. If you can even watch television.
I was on my way, I'm going to C-74. I'm 16, so I gotta go to C-74. That's where they house the adolescents at and shit. And you know, adolescents is the niggas that wig out the most. Razors, bangers, and all this crazy shit. You know, it's a different feel. You know, I grew up in Sparford, you know what I mean? Ain't nothing for a little fight or nothing. But now you step into a whole new league where it's razors and bangers now, you know what I mean? And there's niggas that's out there, they just looking for a rep.
As soon as you come through, no matter if you gangster or not, niggas gonna test you.
As one inmate phrased it. One inmate had his milk stolen in the day room, then was punched in the face. Since you are not with it, you get nothing, his attacker said. When you're asked, are you with it? If you answer no, you get spanked, that is beaten savagely.
So to be Hispanic, blacks.
It looked like an army base where you got
A bed, a locker, lined up that way. A bed, a locker, going straight down.
multiple beds lined up back to back to back to back, side to side to side to side to side. You got somebody sleeping in their bunk. You want to get at him, he right there, he sleep. You wrap some tissue around his feet, clown the nigga, whatever you want to do to the nigga. Clown him, burn his feet, make him wash his clothes.
One confessed team member said, "We put the dude in a chicken wing position and attacked the rib only. The chicken wing means hands behind the head like a full Nelson in wrestling. Another inmate told investigators that if you do not comply, you had to walk through a line of inmates. While you walked, you would be assaulted.
You can see which one is the weak one. Sometimes if they're so weak, you gotta get them out of it, because something is going to happen to them.
9 times out of 10, if you fold during that test, you will be nothing. Everything that you have of value will be belonging to someone else. You will never know a moment's peace. You will always be the wreck of that prison.
Once you are with it, you enter a hierarchy. The lowest ranking members of the team, investigators found, were referred to as dayroom niggas. Peons who have no rights and don't even get to use the chairs and tables. Just above them are the pop-off dummies. The pop-off dummy is the inmate that complies with anything the team tells him to do, one jail reporter states. For Christopher Robinson, a 2-week stay at the end of the summer had turned into nearly 2 months in custody, and between then and fall, violent incidents were reported nearly every day throughout the facility. One detainee was beaten over the head with a telephone receiver, another had a finger severed, 4 others suffered orbital fractures from being punched in the face.
Niggas that don't got their props, they not touching that jack. That's crazy. They not, don't even think about it. Don't even wish about it.
Yeah, I see niggas get killed on that jack, man. I seen one time a nigga, when COs went to do the count underneath the beds, he was leaking. They had stuffed him underneath the bed with blankets over him, and he was leaking. And I'm like, you know, and I know the nigga dead, but the nigga underneath the bunk. So that's when the squad came up, they killed the nigga over the jack.
It is prohibited for you to get on that fucking phone and touch that jack.
On October 18th, after lunch had been served on one main, 3 inmates entered Robinson's cell. It's unclear how they got in. Only one officer had access to the cell doors. This officer works inside the glassed-in security station in the housing area. The bubble, it's called. Every hour, inmates have options to either stay in the day room or their cells. The officer in the bubble opens all the cell doors for roughly 5 minutes so inmates can get their belongings. Inmates are not permitted to enter one another's cells. On this day, they entered. According to the police report, inmates demanded Robinson pay a protection fee from his commissary fund, or they would beat him until he promised to comply. Robinson refused. One held his arms, the report states. The other 2 hit him in the chest until he fell unconscious. The officer on hall duty lingered near the entrance of the housing unit. The assault lasted 10 to 15 minutes, witnesses say, an eternity for a beatdown. An officer eventually entered the cell and administered CPR to no avail. The medical examiner was called. When the NYPD forensics team arrived, they found the boy's body lying in the cot, face up. His tan shirt was torn, his liver had been lacerated, one lung was punctured, blood surrounding it. He had been beaten so badly that a footprint could be seen on his chest. The interviews, the police report states, revealed that 2 days prior, Robinson had stated that he would die before he would get with it. Rikers is comparable to the prisons white-collar millionaires are sent to for embezzling money. The kids have no schedules, no chores, no requirements for luxuries. No consequences for bad behaviors. The housing areas are grossly unstaffed. Many refuse to take units as their assignments, so they put COs on the wheel to do their tour there. These officers have no training, and it also means there's someone new every day. Just like at a school when a class has a substitute, they have 0 chance of maintaining order. They don't have their weight up. If they don't comply, they get beat down like any new inmate. There are on average 3 officers for 50 inmates, and the mods are dormitory-style housing units. There are no cells, just one main. What happened to Christopher is a tragedy for many reasons. We all know them. But the bottom line here is that these are children in need of treatment and guidance from responsible adults, placing them in facilities that allow them to live around ubiquitous drugs, unproductive adults, non-existent positive role models, while they live out a version of Lord of the Flies. Rikers Island and the hundreds of juvenile facilities like it are a clear expression of cruel and inhumane punishment in broad daylight.
They don't treat me no different, and they ain't gonna treat me no better because I'm the youngest or if I'm the oldest one down here. If they did, I wouldn't be here. And if they gave a fuck about me, my conviction, and if they cared like they say they do, they'd have gave me some type of program instead of sending me back here. Can't accomplish shit back here. Can't accomplish nothing back here.